Welcome to another episode of Trucker Talk. I hope everybody is having a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day outside. It's a beautiful day. Today's episode, man, life before 42, the experiences that shaped me. I will be turning 42 on August the 1st. Today's conversation, it's about the highs, the lows, the lessons, and the person that I'm becoming before I step into my 42nd year. So I'm glad to have you all here. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen. So again, it's Saturday. I'm turning 42 years old. Birthdays have a way of making you stop and reflect. They make you think about where you've been, what you survived, and what you have learned, and who you become. Today, I'm not celebrating with the list of accomplishments. I'm celebrating the experiences that shaped me, the victories, the setbacks, the heartbreak, the healing, and everything in between. So we're going to start out with life doesn't always go according to plan. When we're young, we all have a picture in our minds of how life is supposed to go. that is so funny, but it's real. We think we'll have everything figured out by a certain age. Boom. Hold on. There you go. Then life happens. Plans change. People leave. Doors close. New opportunities open. You realize that life isn't about following a perfect script. It's about learning how to adapt. So, reflection question for myself. What unexpected turn in your life made you stronger? I would have to say in my earlier years when my son's mother, of course, got pregnant. And as me as a father, as a young father, I was young. We both was young. I didn't really know anything about life, but here I am. Voila, I'm a father. So that right there, if that didn't happen, I would not be the man that I am today because the responsibility, and I'm speaking this for myself because there are other male figures or men that are out there that have children that don't take care of their children. So I'm speaking from my point of view. Let me just go ahead and clear that up. So that right there, that was my why as far as my life going through my lessons, my adversity, the different adversity and my different journeys and stuff that I went through. So it as a man or as a young man, I knew that I had a little human depending on me. So I had to step up to the plate. I had to make sure he had everything he needed. We made sure he had everything he needed. And then, we had the co-parent. So, there's challenges when it comes to co-parenting. And that's life, it happens. So I think that is what made me stronger as a person is having that experience at that young age. So the hardest lessons, the hardest seasons taught me the most. So loss, when it comes to loss and disappointment and failure, when I first lost one of my good friends, it about killed me. When I lost my grandmother, yeah, it was rough. Dude, I lost my father, then I was just angry. So loss can and grief, it can take a lot out of you depending on how you navigate it and how you process it. The disappointments, I've had a lot of disappointments in my life as far as relationships, friendships, jobs, different just different aspects of my life. I mean, the jobs, coworkers, everything. Like it is I've had a lot of disappointments and I believe it shaped me into the person that I am today when it comes to disappointments because let's say I meet me a new friend or meet somebody and I confide in this person and I look up to this person and then boom, they break your trust or they do something behind your back and then you're like, okay, I can't keep having these trust issues when it comes to friends or relationships or even family. So you get to a point to where, of course, you have to learn how to set healthy boundaries. So I think in the disappointment apartment, I learned how to set boundaries. Now, failure, I'm gonna go to failure now. In life, in my personal opinion, I think failure is good for everyone because it's up to you at the end of the day when you fail to decide on if you're gonna try again or if you're just gonna stay laying down. So as a person, you have to be willing to get back up off your feet. Get up off your feet, reevaluate some of the things that caused you to fail. And now, don't get this wrong. Don't get me wrong. Some things, failure just come with some things. Let me just say that. But other things, it's just a matter of you navigating and trying to figure out, okay, this didn't go this way. Let me go back to the drawing board to figure this thing out. So as far as failure, that's what I got to say about that. Now, stress can come on different levels. It can be from your job, it can be from your family, your friends, your even your I guess your spouse, your soulmate, whoever you're in a relationship with. But there's all kinds of different stresses, and just like, and I was telling a good friend of mine, George, I was trying to explain to him about my truck driving job, and I said, look, I said I got four. I think I said four things. I said if my truck is if my truck's got to be working and the wheels, of course, when I do my pre-trip, I got to make sure that's working. I got to make sure my trailer's working. We have a scanner device that will we scan our groceries with. I said, I got to make sure my scanner working. I got to make sure my printer working. And then I have a hand truck that I got to make sure the tires are pumped up in and the screws are in it and it's working. So that's five things when it comes to stress. So when I go to work every day, those five things have to be on point. Now, sometimes the printer may not work. Sometimes if the scanner don't work, that's a problem. Now, as far as the tractor and the trailer, if I get a flat tire or something like that, I know I'm gonna have to call the 1-800 number that we have to call to have somebody come out and work on our truck. So when it comes to stress, and I tell these guys this when I go to work every day, like the type of job that I do, it's mentally it's a mental job, but it's more physical. But you have to have a proper mindset because if you don't go into work with a good mindset, as soon as one thing goes wrong, you're gonna blow your lid. So I learned to accept, and I'm gonna break it down for you. I learned to accept that the trucks may not be clean, the printer may not be charged up, the handheld may not be charged up, and everything else. I accept all of those things. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be okay. If five, if four out of the five or three out of the five is okay, I'm okay. It's a win-win. So I look at it like that. So I already look at it from a different point of view. So I don't let that stress me out because I'm just like I already know. And people think they don't want to say I'm negative, but I'm like you already screwed. So just accept the fact that you screwed. Just go to work and do your job. They're not going to build the pallets the way you want them to build them. It doesn't work like this. Ain't Burger King. They're not going to do that. I've accepted that because I just know when I open that door, okay, this is what I got to deal with. Let's go with it. Now, fear. I'm gonna talk about fear. I think fear, when it comes to fear, I used to fear dying. I know that sounds crazy because I was like in a bad place. But now, when it comes to fear, I'm at a point, I lived a little bit more and I've accepted some of the things that's going on in life. And I'm working on changing some other things. So I've always feared that. But anymore, I think after my accident, it kind of changed me a little bit. And that was the one of the second closest, like, or in my personal opinion, I guess death act close to death event that I probably had in my life. Because like I said, I don't know how it was going to turn out, and I I know I probably blacked out because when that truck smashed, it was like boom, and I'm like boom. All right, I'm here. So yeah, after that happened, that changed my perspective on a lot of things. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm living for the moment. I got to live for now. Tomorrow's not promised. Be grateful for what you have right now. So, moments when you question yourself, I've questioned myself when it comes to figuring out what I want in life. Like, I'm at this point, my whole intentions when I started this podcast was to continue to work on myself, and I can have conversations with myself, but I'm also reevaluating some things that I'm doing. And you can do something for so long and you think you're operating in the right way, but you're not. Your way, your way is not always the right way. And so with me, when it comes to different situations and things that I was navigating, the adversities and things that I was navigating in life, I was like, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is going to get me through it. So yeah, those methods got me through it. But the older I've gotten and the more things that I'm faced with, those same methods are not working for me now. So now it's like, okay, I have to figure out a different way to navigate through this because those other situations I made it through, but no, I need to figure it out, because it's not going to keep going the way that I want it to go. So it took me to get to this point to realize that. So I used to think the hardest seasons were holding me back. Looking back now, I realize they were preparing me. They taught me to be resilient, patient, gratitude, and perspective. So people come into your life for different reasons. So in my life, in my early, and I told my son, I shared this with my son. I said, I remember when he was first born, I thought I had all these friends. Guess what? They was gone. I mean, could you imagine being 19 years old with a baby? And think about it. I'm fresh out of high school. Well, fresh out of high school. And my friends, they partying, they smoking, they drinking, they doing all this stuff. And I got a baby around. They're like, so the people who I thought was my friends, they was gone. I really didn't meet a good group of friends until my 20s. And so when I was working at Coca-Cola, I met some good friends and we're still friends to this day. And I've grown with those people. And when I was going through my difficult times, my friends was there with me. They stayed, they helped me, they listened to me. And at that time I really didn't know how to open up and how to be vulnerable and talk about different things that I was struggling with. So now, like I said, they're still here to this day. And when I think about my hard times and the rough roads, those people were still there. Now, the friends who drifted away, there was a time, I'll say, man, I'll say years and years ago. I told the story about, I'm not gonna say his name, but I had a friend of mine, and and as I reflect, I was dealing with grief, and he hit me up for some money, and he's like, hey, Cheese, that was my nickname. Hey, Cheese, I had X, Y, Z happen. I'm gonna just say that, and I've never did. Was it Western Union? I've never done that. I didn't know anything about that. He gave me this whole spiel. I send him the money, and he's like, "Oh, I get you back. I'm gonna pay you extra. I'm gonna have extra for you. So when I pay you back, I'm gonna give you extra." So I'm like, "All right, cool, bet." So a week go by, 2 weeks go by, a month go by, and there was nothing but excuses. And my heart, because like I said, I have a big heart. It hurt me because I'm just like, man, like I'm thinking about him and his kids. So now, don't get it wrong. I thought about his kids. I thought about him, and I thought about his kids. So I said, I'm going to give him this money because those babies need it. And it turns out he was running. He ran a play on me. I was pissed. I was hurt. I was like, man, I ran track with this dude. I grew up with this dude, the Boys and Girls Club days, the Moses Teen Center days. And that hurt me because that was one of my that hurt because I'm like, man, like I gave him the money. I was not expecting. What I expected was, him giving me his word, and I expected him to keep his word. We didn't do no promissory note or nothing like that. So, but then I had another similar situation with a good friend of mine. Well, an ex friend of mine I work with at Cisco. I gave him some money. He was like, "Hey, can I, borrow some money? This and that." If he would have never said borrowed, I would have never been in my feelings about it. But he said borrow, so I gave him the money. And I don't know if people think that I have money to just pass out and give, but I don't. Because at the end of the day, I have, my responsibilities. I got people that's counting on me. I have my son and my other family, my family that I look after that I look after. So money, this day and time with money, nobody has no money to waste because money is hard to come by. I work my days, I work my job, my full time job, and I enjoy the fruits of my labor. So I've had friends. Those were some experiences I had with some friends that I had to cut off. I didn't want to, but I had to cut them off. So, and my mentors, I've had a handful of mentors, but George Shine, he's one of them. I've always looked up to Harold, and I've looked up to Shine and a lot of my friends that are older than me. So I'm looking at them and I'm learning from them. So they were some good mentors, especially when it comes to working on your house and doing different things. And they'll pop by deals to me and just if I'm feeling a certain type of way about something, they give me their honest feedback and not just tell me something that I want to hear. So I respect them guys for that. So as far as family, I'm learning about more and more about my family. And I've always been a family man, but I think when my mental health and everything started slipping, I started slipping away from that because here I am, I'm losing myself. And it was like I didn't really grab on nobody. I was just falling. And I was like, I got to get it together. I got to get together. So I figured, and again, I thought the methods that I was using was helping, but in reality, they was hurting me. So now I've gotten away from them methods because, like I said, they got me through it. But now I'm grateful that I can be a better man and be a better father, brother, uncle, and a friend. So as far as that area, I'm still working on some things. People who've challenged you to grow. Most of my friends, and just like George and Sean, they've challenged me. Jason, they've challenged me to grow. So, and Mike Preston, like Mike Preston, that man, he's a tough man, and we talk. I talk to him um, once a week, and we get on the phone. He get heavy. It gets heavy. A friend of mine, Eric, it gets heavy because you have these men. I'm talking amongst men, and we're talking about our problems, our issues, things we dealing with, how we navigate through things. So I respect them, man, and I look up to them. And so they challenge me and I get feedback from them, and it challenges me as a man to want to do better and want to do better for my family. So I have these I won't say politics conversations with these individuals, and they help me grow in areas that I need to grow in. So not everyone is meant to stay forever. Some people are lessons. Some people are blessings. Some people or some become lifelong friends. Every person I met taught me something, even if it took years to understand what it was. Now, I'm going to say that again. Not everyone is meant to stay forever. Some people are lessons, some people are blessings. Some become lifelong friends. Every person I met taught me something, even if it took years to understand what it was. So success means something different now. Talk about success. In my 20s and in my 30s, success looked different. Today, success means peace. It means sleeping well at night. It means protecting my mental health. It means spending time with people I love. It means becoming someone I'm proud to be. So I got a question for the listeners. How has your definition of success changed over the years? Again, how has your definition of success changed over the years? So, things I'm proud of before 42. So, personal victories such as getting back up after setbacks, becoming more emotionally aware. One of the things I struggled with was learning to ask for help. Another thing that I'm continuing to work on is building stronger relationships. As friendships, friendships are relationships. Choosing growth over comfort. Choosing to move forward despite life's challenges. There's different times of the year. I was sharing this with a friend. I have different times of the year, and I don't care what is going on in my life as far as my bills can be paid. Everything is going smooth. I'm talking about smooth. In life, it hits me. Birthdays. I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the year. It hits me because I'm like, okay, I'm telling on myself because I'm being open and honest. Every time it's New Year's, I don't care how I prepare for it, how I mentally try to avoid it because I've done it for years and I keep doing it and I don't have an answer for it. So every New Year, my mindset is I'm like, okay, we got a new year. What am I going to do this year? What am I going to do better? I don't set New Year's resolutions. I used to, but I don't. But now my mental state is I'm like, okay, life is short. Who am I going to visit this year? Am I going to spend more time with these individuals? Am I going to, as far as the money thing, I'm okay with the money that I'm making. So it's not even about money no more. Years ago, I was chasing money. I chased it. I chased it. I chased it. And I'm at a point now, I'm like, okay, I'm stable. I'm financially stable to an extent. I'm blessed. My bills are paid. Everything's great. but I'm not chasing the dollar sign no more. I used to do that. So I'm at a different place now where, and I done got off track. So going back to January. So in January, that's how I feel. I get to that point where I'm searching for what am I going to be doing for the year. So let's pass Valentine's Day because I don't really think about that day. No offense to the people that celebrate it. It's great. It's good. It's beautiful for anybody that have their soulmate or their love of their life, whatever you have. But that day, it's just it doesn't bother me. Some people it does bother that are single. They're like, oh, screw that day. I don't say that. I just say Valentine's Day is another day. You can celebrate it with your loved one or your spouse or your partner. So it's what it is. So now you got spring. Spring comes. So now the pretty weather is about to come. Every spring, I will put out my mulch and put some flowers out or whatever. And then I'm like, it hits me. I'm like, okay, now the weather's about to look good. And I fall into this funk. So fast forward, now we're at my birthday. My birthday hits me, and now I'm like, okay, now you're another year older. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna change? What are you gonna work on? Are you gonna travel? Are you gonna find you somebody to settle down with? Like, and it's pressure. Well, it's necessarily not pressure, but you can pressure your own self, and you can be your own worst enemy and your own worst critic. So I have to be careful with now. Like now, I sit back and I'm like, okay, what am I feeling? What are my emotions telling me? What am like? I have to identify what's running through me, and I will turn the music now. I will turn the TV off, and I will sit and cry and think about what I'm trying to process and try to put a finger on it. That way, I'm not running to alcohol or something like that. And I'm like, no, let me numb myself. Let me come back to this. No, we're gonna talk about this now. So you got to figure it out now. Let's figure out what's going on with you. So that's another part of the year. The next part is the holidays. So the beginning of the year, you got the spring, then my birthday, and now it's the holiday season. When it comes to grief, and I'm gonna try to be as clear and as straightforward as I can. I've learned that it's tough because the holidays reminds you of your loved ones that are no longer here. Think about all of the things that you all used to do. And people say, "Oh, it gets easier with time." My personal experience, because I've tried to avoid it, I've tried to run from it. It don't get easier. It's tough. I mean, you navigate through it, you feel those emotions, and then you just push through and you move on. That's what I've learned to do as far as that aspect because I'll never forget in the beginning, I would I would sit there, I drink, and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, it's the next day. Let's get this over with. I didn't care for it. I was trying to not feel it. And once I got past that, guess what? I compartmentalize it and it's still there. So as the next season come around, it's like, okay, since I didn't process it then, guess what? It's rolling back around. So process it, try to understand it, feel those emotions, get them out, and then just continue. I was gonna say move on. You can't moving on, that's not the right word. But just continue to navigate through it each time the season comes. That's one of the things I learned is just keep navigating through it. Think about positive things, think about the good memories, think about the you think about the bad ones too, but just think about those good times and it helps you get through that as you're creating new memories and more memories or a new tradition, a new family tradition when a loved one leaves. So, what I'm still working on, be honest about areas where you're still growing. Patience, balance, letting go of control, being fully present, giving yourself grace. Turning 42 doesn't mean I've arrived. It means I'm still learning, still growing, and still becoming the person I'm meant to be. So as I step into 42, I don't want to focus on getting older. I want to focus on living better. I want to keep learning, keep healing, keep loving, and keep showing up for the people who matter. If you're listening to this today, remember this: your experiences don't define your worth, they shape your wisdom. Every chapter, even the difficult ones, has helped write the story of who you are. No matter where you are in life, keep moving forward. Your next chapter could be your best one yet. So, thank you all again for spending this time with me. If this episode spoke to you, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what life has taught you before your current chapter. Until next time, hope everybody have a great day. Thank you all. And I hope you all have a blessed week. Thank you.
It's the drip from me, Strozar.